The massive America's Got Talent stage glimmers under thousands of lights, filled with anticipation and noise from the crowd. In the midst of all that grandeur, a young Filipino girl steps onto the stage, her presence quiet but filled with vulnerability. She's wearing a simple floral dress that looks slightly faded, and her worn shoes hint at her humble background. She clutches the microphone tightly, her knuckles pale from nervousness. The judges sit in their seats, Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Heidi Klum, and Howie Mandel, their eyes focused on her. Simon tilts his head, his expression unreadable but clearly skeptical. The girl clears her throat softly, her voice trembling as she introduces herself. Her accent is thick, and her tone is shy, barely audible over the buzz of the massive room. A few members of the audience exchange glances, one or two even chuckle, assuming she's just another nervous contestant about to fail. The camera zooms in on her trembling hands and nervous smile. She looks around, taking a deep breath, trying to find courage in the sea of faces before her. The judges whisper something to each other, and Simon's eyebrow arches as if he's already made up his mind. The lights dim slightly, the music cue appears on the monitor, and the crowd quiets down, waiting. The girl closes her eyes for a brief moment, almost whispering a prayer to herself. You can feel her fear, her hope, and her determination all at once. Everything about her seems fragile, her stance, her voice, her uncertainty, but behind that vulnerability lies something powerful waiting to be heard. The moment before she sings stretches endlessly, filled with suspense, doubt, and a hint of something magical about to unfold. The first gentle notes of the music begin to play, echoing softly through the silent theater. The young Filipino girl stands completely still for a second, gripping the microphone with both hands. Her lips part, and the very first note that escapes her mouth changes everything. Her voice, unexpectedly rich and soulful, fills the air like a wave of light. The audience, who had moments ago been skeptical, falls into absolute silence. Her tone carries both pain and beauty, the kind that only comes from a life filled with struggle and dreams. Every lyric she sings seems to come straight from her heart, trembling with emotion yet strong enough to command the entire room. The camera captures Simon Cowell's face as his eyes widen slightly in surprise. He leans forward, studying her with newfound respect. Sofia Vergara places her hand over her chest, visibly moved. Even the toughest critics in the audience can't help but stare, their doubt melting into admiration. The girl's confidence grows with each line, her trembling replaced by passion. She closes her eyes as she reaches the chorus, her voice soaring effortlessly, powerful enough to fill the entire arena. The once doubtful murmurs have turned into gasps of awe. Her voice carries raw emotion, a mix of longing, hope, and pride. The judges exchange looks of amazement, realizing they're witnessing something rare and special. As she continues to sing, her fear disappears completely, replaced by the pure joy of expression. The lights shimmer around her, highlighting the tears forming in her eyes. The song isn't just a performance anymore, it's her story, a message from a girl who came from nothing, proving she belongs on the world's biggest stage. As the final chorus rises, the young Filipino girl pours every ounce of emotion into her voice. Her song reaches its climax, powerful, heartfelt, and flawless. The audience, already captivated, begins to stir. When she hits the final note, her voice soars with breathtaking purity, echoing across the auditorium. For a heartbeat, there is silence, the kind that holds everything still, the kind that means something extraordinary has just happened. Then, suddenly, the entire theater erupts. People jump to their feet, clapping, cheering, and whistling. The sound is thunderous. Some in the crowd are wiping away tears, completely moved by what they've just witnessed. The girl stands motionless, her chest rising and falling as she struggles to catch her breath. She looks overwhelmed, her eyes wide, tears beginning to form. Slowly, she realizes what's happening. Thousands of people are standing, applauding her. Her trembling lips curl into a shy smile, then break into tears of joy. The judges rise one by one. Howie Mandel claps enthusiastically, Heidi Klum is beaming, and Sofia Vergara dabs at her eyes with a tissue. Simon Cowell, known for his tough demeanor, stands up last, his expression soft but deeply impressed. The camera captures the rare moment, Simon smiling genuinely, nodding in approval. The girl brings a hand to her mouth, completely overcome by emotion. She had expected rejection, maybe even laughter, but instead she's standing in front of a standing ovation. The golden lights shimmer around her, the crowd chanting her name. For the first time, she allows herself to believe that her dream might just come true. It's no longer just a performance, it's a moment that transforms her from an unknown girl into a star the world will never forget. As the applause begins to fade, the young Filipino girl stands under the stage lights, her face still wet with tears. The audience slowly quiets down, waiting to hear what the judges will say. Simon Cowell leans forward, resting his hands together, his usual stern expression replaced by something gentler. The girl looks terrified again, unsure of what's coming. Then Simon speaks, his tone calm but filled with sincerity. "You know," he begins, "when you first walked out, I wasn't sure what to expect. You looked nervous, and I thought maybe this wasn't your moment." The girl lowers her head slightly, bracing herself, but then Simon continues, his voice warming. "But the moment you started singing, everything changed. That was incredible." A wave of emotion sweeps through the room again. The girl's eyes widen in disbelief, her lips trembling as she tries to hold back tears. Simon goes on, "You didn't need fancy clothes, or a big story. You came here with nothing but your voice, and that's what true talent is." The crowd cheers again, moved by his words. Sofia Vergara nods, smiling proudly as she adds, "You touched every single person here tonight." Heidi leans toward the microphone and says softly, "You're a star, sweetheart." Howie grins, clapping his hands, "That's what AGT is all about, finding someone who reminds us that dreams can come from anywhere." The girl covers her mouth with her hand, unable to speak as tears stream down her face. She whispers a small, trembling, "Thank you." The judges smile warmly at her, and for the first time that night, she stands tall, no longer the scared girl who walked in, but a performer who just earned the respect of the world. The stage is silent again, filled with anticipation. The young Filipino girl stands frozen, still trembling from Simon's words, her tears glistening under the golden lights. The audience waits, breathless, sensing something extraordinary is about to happen. Sofia Vergara glances at Howie Mandel, both of them visibly emotional. Without saying a word, they share a knowing look, then, at the exact same moment, they slam their hands down on the golden buzzer. In an instant, the crowd erupts in screams and cheers. Golden confetti bursts from above, swirling through the air like a glittering storm. The girl gasps, her eyes wide in disbelief as she looks up at the falling gold. Her hands fly to her face, and she collapses to her knees, overcome with emotion. Tears flow freely as the music swells, and the judges rise from their seats, clapping and cheering. Sofia runs to the stage, hugging the girl tightly, whispering, "You deserve this." Heidi and Howie soon join in, their faces filled with joy. Simon stays seated for a moment, watching with a proud smile. There's something in his eyes, admiration, maybe even awe. Then he stands, giving her a slow, respectful clap that carries more meaning than any words. The camera zooms in on the girl's face, a mix of disbelief, gratitude, and pure joy. She lifts her hands toward the falling confetti, laughing and crying all at once. The audience chants her name as golden lights beam across the stage. It's a cinematic moment, a dream coming true before everyone's eyes. From a shy, nervous girl who nearly broke down before singing, she has transformed into the night's brightest star. The confetti keeps falling, the music swells, and her journey to stardom truly begins.